Believe it or not, I have been a victim of stalking over, I'm going to say 12 years ago. And I learned through that experience that a stalker's most prized possession is your fear. And I think in today's video, I'm not going to highlight just any kind of stalking. I think I want to highlight the kind of stalking that occurs within the family. Believe it or not, family members will stalk you. And it's a matter for you that may be a little bit complex, right? Because I think most people feel like, well, my family member is not going to stalk me because they know me, right? Only strangers stalk, or intimacy seekers, those who want to have some kind of connection with us, right? Or maybe it's a predator, right? Somebody who's just looking to prey upon you. But family members do stalk. And so in today's video, I want to highlight what their behaviors may look like and how to protect yourself. But before we jump in, let me briefly introduce myself. In case you are new, my name is Tamara. I'm an internationally and board certified trauma therapist. I'm also licensed in mental health, and I specialize in treating children, teens, and families, as well as adults who are dealing with trauma. Let's jump in. So one of the things that you guys are probably, well aware of at this point is that I am not an open book. I will share sometimes in my videos just to help you understand where I'm coming from, or to help give some self-disclosure that may be therapeutic, right? Or educational in some way. So I think I'm going to share with you very, very briefly what my stalking experience was like. So I had been in the field at this point for 5 years. And I've always worked in really intensified settings, or intense environments, I should say. I've worked in juvenile delinquent centers. I've worked in hospitals. I've worked in residential treatment facilities where people live and they stay housed on a campus. I worked in a community mental health center where there were a lot of adults who were suffering from schizophrenia and bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. And I've also worked with sociopaths professionally and as clients. And so I had started seeing this family that I was given immediately when I took a job position in a private practice. It was a group private practice. And in this setting, it was a family that had been going through a terrible divorce. It was really messy. And one of the spouses, and I say one of because I don't want to give away too much information, struggling with delusions and delusions of grandeur, and really struggling with hallucinations. I remember placing a phone call to the parent to discuss the depression, the suicidal thoughts, and the cutting that I had noticed on one of her children. And at that point, I was young, I was attractive, not tooting my own horn, but that was a piece of the puzzle. I also was very good at what I did, even though I was 5 years into the field. I had skill and I had exposure that most younger people at the time wouldn't have. And this spouse began to call me repeatedly and hang up. They tried to find my cell phone number, and I had been working in various places, and they were trying to locate me and made a threat, and that ended up creating a situation where I had to go to the police. And, the police said to me at the time, "I think you have one of the most dangerous jobs of all." And I looked at the officer and I said, "No, I think you do." And he looked at me and said, "No, I think you do." And, it was just hard to live with at the time. And, it was a situation where I had to 302 the parent. You're not signing yourself into the hospital. I'm putting you in the hospital because you're not well. And that kind of alleviated the situation, because I think at that point, this parent, this ex-spouse, saw that I can't harass somebody because I feel like it. Stalkers love fear. That's what they're skilled at. That's what they desire most of the time. Now, there's a variety of different stalkers, and I talk about them right up here in this video if you want to go check that out. And I'm going to post some other videos in the description box for you that highlight some of the stalkers that you may run across. But if you're talking about a family stalker, now we're getting a little bit into some deep stuff here, because the dynamic changes, right? This is not a patient. This is not a stranger. This is not an acquaintance, right? Because there are intimacy and acquaintance stalkers, I'm going to call them. And these are individuals who may run across you, or they may be introduced to you once, or they may have crossed you in a store, or accidentally pulled your social media account up, and all of a sudden they're connected and they're attached to you, right? Family members are not those kind of stalkers. And so you may be a little taken aback as to why they're even stalking you in the first place. So the first thing that I think is important for me to note here is that sometimes family members will try to take your identity and hack you. Now, here's what I mean by that. I once had a consultation from Australia where I had been, really trying to help this dad figure out, how in the world did his ex-wife hack his accounts, get all of his information, and steal his identity. And he thought he changed everything. He thought he renamed everything. He thought he got rid of all the information that they shared together. And the reality is that he did not. He still had some holes in the system that he needed to get fixed. The last person he thought would hack him was his ex-wife, but it is a possibility. So family members will hack you, right? Because they have your information. They may have really easy access to your information. They may know all the personal details of your life, like your date of birth, your social security number, your work address, your home address, right? That's all they need sometimes. And what you want to do when you notice that is start closing things down and reorganizing, things to your benefit, right? You want to change things. You want to go to identitytheft.gov, and you want to do what you need to do to protect yourself in your family. Now, you may also get some cyber stalking in your family as well. And that's when a family member chooses to stalk you online, and it may get so bad that they begin to hack into your screen name or your password and post things under your name as if they are you. My coworker of 12 years just shared a situation with me where she is now serving as some kind of expert in a trial where the family member hacked into another family member's social media and began posting things about his boss, posting things about his marriage. And this family member was so evil as to hack into his Facebook account and take photos of his immediate family, his wife and his children, and post them all over the internet, even on the dark web. And it has reopened my eyes to how dangerous family stalkers can actually be. Keep in mind that the psychopath and the sociopath within your family doesn't see that it's beneath them to stalk you, cyber stalk you, to steal your identity. If you have a sociopath, a psychopath, or a narcissist in your family, keep in mind that they will stalk you. It's not just the friends and the acquaintances and the strangers and the sociopaths in the world who steal your information and cyber stalk you. Sometimes it's someone right in your family, believe it or not. The next thing is psychosis or psychotic disorder or schizophrenia. Now, there are certain family members who have delusions, which are firm beliefs held to be true despite evidence to the contrary. You can find my videos right up here that may be helpful to you. I'm going to post one video right up here so that you can go back and learn a little bit about psychotic stalkers, for lack of a better word. And you may also have some family members who have hallucinations, and they may hear voices telling them to do certain things, and that may be stalking. It's rare for someone with schizophrenia or psychosis to do that, but it doesn't mean that it never happens, because it does. The next thing is somebody in your family who's calculating and manipulative. There are family members who feel that you're never going to look at them because what? They're family, right? We're connected. We are blood. We should love each other. And they will hide under those labels. They may even try to act like they would never ever hurt you. And yet at the same time, they're hacking your bank account, or they're cyber stalking you on Facebook and trying to figure out how to send a photo to your boss. So kind of keep your eyes open. I think sometimes, and this is cultural and social, I think sometimes we just believe family would never do that to us, right? And so we kind of take for granted that the calculating manipulators that we think exist out there are the ones who also exist right within our family. You know, my grandmother used to say, keep your enemies close to you. And I used to be like, what the heck does that mean? Well, it means keep your eye on them. You know, I'm sure you guys have heard that saying before as well. So if you feel that you have this unhealthy family dynamic, it's dysfunctional, don't put it past your family member to stalk you, to hack you, or to go against you. It can happen, sadly. The next thing is, you know, keep in mind that you may have some family members who wear a mask of charm. They know what to say. They know what to do to keep you from looking at them. But those are the family members that you might really want to look at a little bit closely. Doesn't mean that you have to be paranoid and cruel and distant from this person, or distance your relationship with them. But it does mean, and I am suggesting, that you should kind of keep them on the radar just in case. Okay. The next thing is kind of look at those family members who befriend you after not talking to you for many, many years. They were never interested in you to begin with, and all of a sudden they want to befriend you. You want to keep your mind on that. Maybe there's something going on there, and maybe this is a calculating, manipulative person, and I need to be careful. I once provided a consultation to somebody who hadn't seen their father for decades, right? Maybe 1 to 2 decades, and the father came back into the situation and befriended his son. Unfortunately, he only befriended his son because he needed money, and he knew his son had access to money, that his son had a very profitable business. So you want to be able to consider those things. Why are you back in my life after so many years of not talking to me? Why do you want to reconnect after we've been estranged, which I talk about in this video right up here, for many years, right? So make sure that you're asking yourself to protect yourself, why do you want to befriend me? What's going on there? The next thing is sending countless emails, texts, and phone calls. You know, these kind of family stalkers will do that. They will call you and hang up. They will send you multiple text messages in hopes that you will respond. They will also send you many emails, and they may even try to hack your email and spoof you, pretending to be you. So keep that in mind as well. These kind of family members that I'm highlighting are sociopaths, psychopaths, and narcissists. So they will do whatever they need to do to get whatever they want. So don't put it past them just because they are labeled family. And, you know, I also think too, you need to keep in mind clingy, controlling family members. Ask yourself, why are they so clingy? What do they want? Are they manipulating me? And if so, why? Are they calculating? Why? Has this person always been manipulative, or did they just become that way? You know, you want to ask yourself, do I need to protect myself? Why am I feeling that twinge of anxiety and uncertainty about you? Why do I feel like I can't trust you? Keep those things in the forefront of your mind. Try to answer those questions. You know, do a little bit of introspection also. Why don't I trust this person? Why don't I seem to be comfortable around them? I'm so anxious and I don't know why. Those are red flags and signs. If a family member is going to stalk you, if they're going to cyber stalk you, if they're going to steal your identity and try to manipulate and use you, that's a sign that you need to walk away, put up a boundary. Go ahead and check my 2-year-old video out right up there that talks about toxic family and how you should maybe adjust your vision of them. Thank you so much for being with me in today's video. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up and that bell button if you want to continue to get more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.